Desperate Play, Off the Grid FBI Series, Book 3, by Barbara Freethy. Narrated by Amy Mcfadden. 1. As the sun rose over Manhattan Beach, Wyatt Tanner adjusted the baseball hat on his head and changed positions on the very uncomfortable bench upon which he'd spent the past few hours. It was a little before 7, and he was happy to see the city waking up. He was itchy to get the day going. He pulled a granola bar out of his weathered green sea bag and downed it in 2 bites, then tossed the wrapper into the nearby overflowing trash can. The food did little to ease the gnawing hunger in his gut. He'd always been a big breakfast person, and right now visions of eggs, bacon, hash browns, and pancakes with powdered sugar and hot maple syrup floated through his head. Later, he told himself, not sure that was a promise he would keep. But he'd told so many lies in his life. What was one more? He ran a hand through his dirty brown hair and wondered how the hell he'd gotten here. It was a thought that had been running through his head far too frequently the past several months. Of course, he knew how he'd gotten here, but sometimes the twists and turns his life had taken seemed surreal, even to him. But he couldn't get lost in the past. An old minivan pulled into the parking lot behind him. 3 young males tumbled out of the van, along with a few empty beer cans. He hoped those were from the night before. The men pulled on wetsuits, grabbed their surfboards, and headed across the sand. They were young, ripped, full of life, and cocky as hell. He could almost remember that feeling. Not that he was old, but this morning he was feeling every day of his 32 years. As the wind picked up, he zipped up his weathered bomber jacket and was happy he wasn't out on the ocean today. It was early December, for God's sake. This might be Southern California, and while the temp was supposed to get up into the low 70s today, it was only in the 50s now, and the sea was ice cold. But he could understand the lure of the waves, the adrenaline rush that came from battling Mother Nature. Since he'd come to California, he'd been out on those waves more than once, impatiently waiting for the ride of his life. Usually the ocean did not disappoint. He sat up straighter as a black Escalade pulled into the lot a few spots away from the minivan. The driver, a male in his mid-40s, wearing a conservative gray suit, got out from behind the wheel and moved around the front of the car to open the back door. An older man stepped onto the pavement, his hair white, his skin tan, and his body lean in his black wetsuit. The man had probably 50 years on the 3 team.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?